Hello again, guys. Welcome to our humble group. Here is Andrew Henry talking to you. Let me introduce my partner Marcelo and our amazing artist guest Max Moda. So, hello there, Max.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys? How are you? You're fine?
Yeah,
Great.
we are fine.
Great, great.
So, we are going to ask you first question here is tell us about your secret origins.
My secret origins.
Yeah.
I am a poor Italian. I don't know if my parents did something strange in the world, but I think that I'm pure Italian. Yeah, yeah. I'm 48 years old, and I'm in this business, even if I don't like to call it business, because I think um, I want that rest always a big passion, because that move us in this field, the passion, not everything else. So it's something like 25 years
Mhm.
that I work in comic, especially. But I think the first time that I draw it was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. I always draw. I always draw.
I think
But
everyone started at very young age, right? I think like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, so indeed.
the funny thing is that uh, there was a TV show here where um, you had a chance to send some drawing at the time of Japanese characters like Cashier, Hurricane
Mm.
Polymar. I don't know if you know this character.
Yes, yes,
Fantastic,
yes.
fantastic. And the goal was send the drawing, and you win some markers, and you win pencils. And I was full of this stuff in the house because I was always the first.
Oh, that's so great. That's so cool.
So the good things is that I have some stuff of the time too, and it's a kind of special things for me. And so I didn't spend so many money for tools in the very beginning because I was always on the point, drawing and and, uh, and markers, drawing pencils, drawing papers, and everything. So I always draw. I always.
That's so nice.
So I
Yeah.
leave the next question to you, Marcelo.
Oh, I don't have the list. Let me open it.
Oh,
So rush. Okay. So the second question is, what is your weapons of choice in materials? Like every artist, we have a specific pencil or something that you really love to get always back.
No, because I think it's not depending by. Uh, of course, the quality of the tool is really important, but is what you have here,
Hmm.
and the use of the pencil, maybe the cheaper,
Oh, I see. Hmm.
and I don't want to say these things, but I go in some supermarket, um, the little pencil that you can take for write, I don't know, the measures
Uh-huh.
of of the things that you put in the house, the what's the name, tables and all the stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, I grab all the pencils, and the mark is pencil. It's not something
I
something
see. It's like,
special.
so basically any kind of thing for draw is good
It's
for
good.
you. You don't have any preference. That's okay.
It's good.
Wow,
When
that's so cool.
when I was
No
young,
specific HB pen or BH or
I
no
don't know.
specific.
I don't know what they are because there is the stamp of the name of the supermarket. There's no age to be.
Yeah, it's just it's
Something.
a graphite that you feel comfortable, and you discover that, right? And
It depends by the pressure of your hands. You can use an HP. You can use. I don't. Okay, not maybe an H4 because it's something that you can put into the wall. Okay.
yes, exactly. Yes, like a nail, absolutely.
Yeah, but maybe from the HB to 8B, everything is good. It depends by the pressure of your hands on the
Yes.
paper. And that I learned this at high school because I had a teacher that opened me different doors. He didn't teach me to you have the stuff and you have to use it in this way because it's not for me. Art is not a technical element. It's like you can give with your hands.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter the if you are working in a comic or in illustration in a fine art. It doesn't matter. Your hands determine what you are doing.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And I know many people spend a lot of money for some specific stuff.
Yes.
When they start drawing, and I think that is wrong because you have to know many things before determine what is good for you. And okay, there are Stedler, there are Lira or Lyra, is good stuff. Faber-Castell, high quality stuff. But
What's your favorite?
Um, maybe Lyra, because you have always the point are that you can use it many times, but stay always sharpened. You don't have to make the point every time. It is really good for that stuff, and it's a kind of graffiti that you can control, and the sign is really follow your hand. Sometimes with other stuff, other pencils, it's not so simple to control the sign. So maybe you do a thing, but the pencil do another things. So the sign is very different. But I recommend really for the young guys to start drawing with what you have.
Yes.
Don't think that you can be Alex Ross because you have a great pencil. No,
I agree.
No.
An artist does define the tools. The tools doesn't define the artist.
Yes.
Exactly. I completely agree. Yeah. Yes.
That's why this is a really strange thing, but I use a lot erasers.
I see.
Yeah, I feel the shape maybe with a one tones, and then when I have to create light, when I have to create some particular stuff on mantle, maybe for Batman, for example, I work with erasers.
In that way, you control the lighting, secondary lighting, and stuff like that. Oh, I see. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I did this stuff for my personal project in fine art, and fine art teach a lot because there are many things in the shadows, there are many things in the light, and sometimes penciling with the multiple layers is not so clear to me, and I prefer to use the eraser, and doesn't matter if it is an eraser in the pencils or the classic erasers. doesn't matter. It's the same things. Erasers, pencils, and everything are only tools. Depend by your hands, your head, and your sensibility.
That's so nice.
Yeah. But I repeat, I learned this stuff um, with this teacher that give me the spark to explore all this stuff.
Can you share the name of your teacher?
Yeah, and the name was Nata. The surname was Nata. I don't remember the name because I was at high school and I was really young. I lost this man along the road, but I remember the surname Nata. Prof Nata. Professor Nata. A great man.
A great artist here in Europe. I was living in Mexico, and over there is more like American comic kind of style and more cartoon influence, or Japanese. But when I came here, I got exposed to artists like yourself. That I saw you work, and it's really amazing, and it surprised me. This is not that much active over there in America, and high quality things here. Also, I met some artists in the internet from Spain. My mind just blew away. Italy, Spain. So, well, it's very cool. I really got blown away.
Maybe I think that there is some different in the approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do comics, but I'm really slow. I'm not fast to draw. And the fact is, for example, I don't think that my style fit for some big name like editors like Marvel, DC, because they have deadline really short.
Yes.
And I think it is impossible for me to draw something like that with this kind of mentality. I do comics because maybe I need 2 days or 3 days for a page, and it is impossible with this kind of approach. Working for a big name, it's absurd. It's absurd.
Yes, the deadlines are very tight. Sometimes
you
have five pages for a week, something like that.
Yeah, I know. When I hear, I know guys here that work for Marvel and DC, 1 page per day. 1 page per day. It's a machine. Pam, 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 pam. 24 page per month. It's not like if you are ready, if you are okay to work in that way, it's good. I'm okay, but it's not for me. So that's why I prefer to work for maybe project with a start and end, with really precise point and time. That's important. Time is not all the time simple to let people know that you work in that way because that's your art. That's your time. You need to do that in that time. You can go faster because I want to give the most of the quality that I can. That is my interpretation of art, and I think it is my respect for the people that I have in front that call me and tell me, "Do you want to draw this?" Yes, okay. The project is interesting, is like I'm doing right now, but I need of this time. If you are okay with this, we can do. If you're not okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you work more like in graphic novels and big in illustrations, covers, stuff like that?
I usually work for private client. They have a story, they present a script. Sometimes they don't. And but everything start from from a beginning and have an end. That's the really important. Doesn't matter if it is a graphic novel or simple comics or an illustration. I need time. It is really important for me because I'm not. I am no one. I want to precise, but the fact is that the use of the tools, my tools, is not in the classic way of many artists. Because in my pages of comics, I use charcoal, I use graphite powder, I use many things. All the stuff with the eraser, doesn't matter if it is a background, characters, doesn't matter. But I use many things. And you have, I need to have the control of everything what I use, because I want to give the right things.
Mm-hmm. So we are.
It's a question. It's a question of honesty.
Okay. So we are going to move to the next question. What's your secret hobby or your secret identity?
My secret identity?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No hobbies, no hobbies, or it's the secret to know.
No secrets.
Very good.
No. You have a secret identity, guys?
Oh yeah, I have a secret identity, definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Well, I do comics, but for example, also I have my hobby, which I like to sing and play guitar and make my own music. So that's kind of my secret identity in a certain way, that I want to be a singer and guitar player. So yeah,
I can say that when this part of my life is become a full day in art. I had a band. I was the singer. I played the guitar.
Wow.
Heavy thrash, heavy thrash music.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we toured a lot in the past. But you know, when this music achieved this point in the 90s, then fall down vertically.
Yes.
And we stopped everything because my brother was the drummer, for example. He had a son, and when you have son, many things changes. Family comes out and everything. So we stopped that, and my new life started in art.
Yes. Yeah, definitely priorities.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so move to the next question, right?
Yeah.
There is a specific project that you like to talk about right now. Something personal, or a personal project maybe you want to start, or maybe someone that you're working right now that you can share something.
Right now I'm working on a story, very delicate, because touch something different from my belief, something different from my culture.
I see.
And the guys that commissioned me this work asked me to say nothing.
I see. Confidentiality, which is good. Everyone like us have that, right?
Yeah, and I respect a lot, because I'm learning a lot about this culture and the religion and everything, because it's a story with the ambient is the religion. And when you touch this stuff, it is you have to move on the tiptoe.
Yes, that's true. Okay,
and,
so
so
the subject is kind of theological kind of theme. I'm working also in a title like that, and it's quite cool because it's a mixture of like sci-fi, modern / Do you ever saw the new show in Netflix, Lucifer? You no,
Maybe yes, something yes.
or Blade from Wesley Snipes in
Yeah,
the
yes, yes.
2000s. So it's something like that. It's like theological creatures, but in modern era.
Okay.
Simple, it looks like Constantine police kind of thing is the thing that I'm drawing right now.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, this project is really nice because it's something like that, but uh, posted into the past. It's
I see.
something like about the Antichrist and
I
everything,
see.
but not about my culture. See this stuff,
I see. I understand.
and it's a new thing for me because in Italy you can talk freely about this stuff. But I know that maybe in other countries is a very uh, deep into the heart and in the mind of the people.
Yeah, very deep subject. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be very delicate and precise because the audience is different, the mentality is different, and the really cool things is that I love to work on this project because is something that I never did before, and it is a really new stuff, complete. And I can see different plans of this culture, and I'm
I
happy
see.
for that. I'm happy for that, and um, I think I don't know what this stuff will come out, but because we are in the middle right now, different chapters, and we are in the middle, and I know that this guy want to release everything when everything is finished.
I see.
Yeah,
That's
but
fine.
it's a really cool things.
We'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
waiting for it for sure.
Looking forward.
yeah. I think that I can show you. I don't know if you can see uh, because my com is doing this stuff here,
Hmm.
and but I can show you a page if you want.
Sure. Will be great.
Please share it with us.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the opening page.
Wow.
Mm.
I don't know if you see because here there is a light. Very
Is that the kind of like oh, it's like the ocean, right?
it's
Yeah,
very
it's a sea. You can see, and there's lights there, and raining too.
Wow.
is the ocean and a boat across the
Wow.
waves. The boat is falling down the waves. The guys on the boat.
Oh,
Amazing. Looks so cool.
it's so rich, actually, rich too with details and shading. You did amazing job there, Max.
Yes, because thank you, but because
Amazing.
here um, everything is made with charcoal and erasing for the white of the waves and for the shadows, lights, and everything. People under the boat when it's falling down. The only things that of this project is that there are no face. There are no faces because this guy asked me this,
Okay.
and so you the difficult things is that you have to work with the body for give expression
Yeah, yeah.
and the
I see.
Body
language of,
language.
yes, the language of the body is really important even if they have uh, big stuff around. So it is very difficult because there is a great volume
Mhm.
about wearing, and the real good things is that you have to give credibility to the characters without seeing the faces and moving inside the dress.
Oh, let's see.
That's the most difficult things.
I see.
But it's really good. It's really good. I like it. I like.
Me too.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, guys.
Well, so we are going to move to the next question.
Yeah.
What is the challenges you face while drawing or making a project?
What? Sorry.
What is the challenges you face?
When I draw.
Yeah, when you draw, when you make art, when you start a new project.
Maybe the study of the light.
Style, variety?
Yes, the light, because many of us, we artists, we draw with only one light source usually.
Yes.
And if you work in black and white, maybe it's good, but if you have maybe two sources or three sources, with the light that enter in the other light and confusing the shapes and the shadows, it is sometimes really difficult to interpret because I don't use references.
I see.
And when I draw, I do my thumbnails very, very small, sometimes 5 per 7 centimeters or 7 per 10, and I do different thumbnails, maybe of the same scene, illustration or panel or what we want, and I do different study of this stuff. And the light is really cool things because is everything.
Yeah, lighting is a subject that I'm studying in a certain way, and what I'm doing is, for the audiences to know, is when I have, for example, I create a vehicle, a concept. What I do is I use clay in a very basic shape. I don't have, because I'm moving and I'm packed everything. But for example, I create a vehicle, like a ship, and I just play with the clay, basic shape, and then I actually pick the lamp or two lamps, and I start to see the primary light source, secondary, and textures, and that helped me kind of, with a very basic shape, put it in the paper and understand a little bit more better.
Yes, yes.
And it's fun to play with clay. So
I start with always basic shapes. This is another thing. My advice for young guys, because they start to complicate everything, and I believe that we all need to understand why we have that kind of result. And if I'm able to do that things, because before I learn the anatomy, the perspective, and the lighting and everything. So it is really important. Study for the great ones. And now all the young guys are really lucky because of the internet. When I was young, internet maybe was for military or something like that. So even if in Italy we have the 19% of the art in the world, there are not good books. There are no good books for helping in understanding something of the stuff. So I have to do researches and buy from the United States books, and this means try to learn English. Then I'm not so cool with English. I try to explain myself, but I don't know if I'm doing the right way sometimes.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So I take these books, Andrew Loomis, for example, it is a great artist, and the books he did are for everyone. You can understand everything. Maybe not great concept, but the basic that is useful for you to start with simple things, and then you can increase to more difficult things.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are tremendous artists. Stan Propenko, you know,
Yes.
Propenko is a great. I love it. But he knows many things. He studied a lot.
Yeah.
And I think you can't become one of the greatest, waking up in the morning, pretending to do everything.
Yeah.
Without
It
learning.
had to be hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you have to put the hours, study, practice.
Yeah, I know. Here in Italy, for example, the mentality behind the comics, the reader of the comics, is, oh, they did in 2 days. Okay, so they realized the comics in 2 days. No, maybe it takes 6 months for complete one number, because here comics are made by 96 pages. It's not like in the United States. I think is 12, maybe.
No, there are six
24.
sizes. 24, 22. The shortest comic that I made was 16 pages, but it was for a kid kind of company. Yeah.
Because when I went in United States, I take some comics, and it was really small, maybe 12 pages, 10, 12 pages, and 24 of advertising, something. And but maybe it's a case. It's not.
I see.
It's not the normality. But here we call the comics the 9 art.
Yes.
And but not everyone understands this.
Yeah, one of my mentors mentioned that is the 9 art in Mexico.
Yeah, and people think it's made by children, it's for children, and
same theory here. We are facing the same theory here in Egypt.
Same here.
Yeah.
You will hear horror stories from Mexico. Is like you will laugh. They offer, today I have a meeting with I'm creating this kind of studio with friends, and today one of the guys said, they offer him a commission of 48 pages, and they offer him probably like $50.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm not joking. In Mexico is hell for comic book artists. That was I left. Is hell, and clients tell you, but it's very simple, right? My little kid do it. He knows how to use Photoshop too. It's like, oh my god! So definitely, you will get crazy if you go to Mexico.
Strange things everywhere.
Yeah.
I give you an example. I do not only comics. I do fine art because it's my really way for express myself. Mm-hmm. And there is a family, and I think what means fine art. For me, a panel, for example, 1 meters for 2, it takes 4-5 months.
Oh.
And a family here, very rich people, invited me to the house because they wanted a big wall in fine art of their family imposed.
Wow.
And I asked everything, blah blah blah. And in the end, the father say me, we can offer 300 euro.
Oh my God!
and
Come on!
the panels it was 5 meters for 4.
Oh my God!
and I
Shit!
and I said, thanks for the coffee and bye bye.
You know, I have a technique which is because sometimes I got pissed, right? Because people, you say I'm sorry, this is no not okay, and they keep insisting. So what I did sometimes after a while, because I'm still receiving clients like that, especially from Mexico or some parts of America. What I say when they offer this, I say yes, and I say like, yeah, I accept the project, and I say yes to everything, but I ignore them and I keep moving with my life. And then 2 weeks later, what happened? Why you're not sending any updates? And when I do the most stupid, hilarious excuse, like I'm sorry, I just bought this video game. It's very cool, and when I finish this video game, I will reply to you. And I left them there. So that's my revenge.
Well,
That's my
actually,
revenge.
when I face these situations, actually, I tell them first about my rates, so I don't get myself involved in such situations. Just tell them this is the pay rate you are going to pay. We can split it in two parts before we start the work, parts after we end the work. So I try to make everything clear first, so I don't hate myself later if something went wrong.
Yes, I
So
agree.
it happens. It happens to every artist, actually.
Yeah,
I'm glad to know it happens to you too, guys.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Because not all, but many people don't understand uh, what means this, what means
Yeah,
this work, how many works there is behind the thing you see.
Yeah.
And it's like living in a loop, like in the high-speed video in YouTube. People thinks that you can realize everything in that way. 20 seconds.
yeah,
And
I agree.
yeah, I've got students here because I have some courses when I do um, portrait. I teach portrait,
I see.
and sometimes young guys, when they see that you have to take measures and everything, how works the light, where the features are, why they are there, and if the head is not in the front view but just in this way. But I take a look on the internet, I take a look on YouTube. In 20 seconds, the guys did everything. And we are here 2 hours. You are telling us this stuff, take the vision. Because you see something unreal.
Yeah, I agree.
People thinks that that's real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
And
scary.
sorry for it. Go on. Sorry.
I say that that's scary because okay, that now you see the guys with 2 phones typing, okay, and they think that everything is fast.
Mhm.
Art is all but not fast.
Absolutely, I agree.
Doesn't matter what you do.
And
It's
and
not.
uh, and also even if you are able to do it fast, it took you more than 10 years, sometimes 25 years to be able to do it as fast as you do it. So
Yeah.
it's not about the time. It's not about that I can do this illustration in only line art without adding any volume to it in 10 minutes. It's not that speed. It's because it took you 10 years, 15 years of practice and study to be able to do that at that level. And
Yeah.
also, and you guys agree, when you are making a composition and when you're doing all this stuff, you're putting in your mind a kind of phenomenon that you're also putting structural lines. You're analyzing the lighting, so it's everything is mental and it's happening at the same time, and all this needs to study, discipline, consistency, and you're doing everything automatically now. But before years ago, you were holding the book and you're like this, and you're like 2 weeks for the studying phase, or you know. So that is what the clients nowadays don't see, and also beginners don't see. You know,
it's not because it's not talking about to be superior, but doing art is a state of mind. Is always a research, is always reasoning, is always the brain is always doing steps. Tan, 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 tan. You are sleeping. If you're doing this job, your brain tan, tan, tan work.
yes,
The fact. That's the fact. And I can understand that not many people fit this kind of view. If you are a writer, I can't understand what is the guideline of the writers. If you are a worker, you do your work, and I can't know all the stuff that there is behind your work.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's normal about any profession, but when you are in this loop, when your brain is always walking, reasoning. When I sleep, I know I'm sleeping, but I know that my brain is working on that stuff because I'm not able to stop, to take a pause. That's the fact. And
that's true.
With this project, I never slept for 5 days because I was totally involved in this stuff, and because I was learning new culture, because I was reading new stuff, I was drawing, I was doing thumbnails and everything. And for 4 days, 5 days, I never closed my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes it happens because if you are really involved in what you're doing, you don't feel the time. You don't hard you don't be here. I don't know.
That is it happens sometimes to me, not that much times, for a couple of hours, and you feel very energetic, super focused, concentrated.
Yeah.
Very in control, very productive. You have this constant flow of ideas and scenes. The way it happens to me is that I start to imagine everything. And in my case, I don't know if this happens with you guys, but I see everything like a movie. And
yeah, of course,
and sometimes I'm the character, sometimes I'm outside in in panoramic shot or whatever, and I am sometimes even do these sound effects like something like that, you know. And I'm so into that sometimes I'm doing this in my room, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And my girlfriend is there. She's like, what are you doing? so you get so immersed in this reality that definitely it can take you hours, in your case days, which is pretty amazing, you know.
That's why I have no girlfriend.
Yes, you have to be alone, because then they look at you like what this guy is doing. Like,
no, but seriously, it is really difficult to find a person that share this stuff, because
it's hard.
You are focused all into, and sometimes I don't eat, for example, maybe one time per day, because I don't feel the need, because I'm there, and everything fade, okay, and I feel and see nothing, just the piece that I'm working on.
Exactly.
And I'm without girlfriend.
That's good advice. Good advice.
Well, we are going to ask you about what type of superhero or villain are you?
Um, for the things we talk a little bit, me and Andrew, before
I see.
the direct, and I think uh, I can be Batman or Moon Knight.
I see.
Okay? Because of the situation we talking before. Because I think that sometimes uh, people stop to talk in the space and move the hand. Immediately, this, you know what this means?
No.
No.
Ah.
Punch.
Okay.
I
Maybe
see.
sometimes a punch in the face is more clear than 1,000 words.
That's true. That's right. That's true. Yes, exactly. I agree.
Yeah. Yes, I'm really angry because, of course, about the COVID. As I said before, I lost friends, and to see uh, how the situation moved in the country. Uh, sorry,
Don't worry.
my dogs.
It's okay. It's okay.
Go out. Out. Sorry, guys.
No
No,
problem.
it's okay.
Maybe they want to eat.
Yes. At least your pets want to interact with you. My cat ignores me all day. So
I have
yeah.
2 dogs and 3 cats, so sometimes it is really difficult to control everything.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but anyway, talking about before, sometimes I think that a good Batman need in the street, and I know it's useless because the things don't change in that way,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes you feel so bad inside that you know maybe a punch arrived before the mind, and maybe sometimes we need to. I don't know, but
Like take action, right?
yeah, yeah. And this stuff prove myself a lot.
Yes.
And I told to Andrew that I stopped everything. I stopped my courses. I stopped drawing home. I stopped everything with clients because people need help, and many people here with no money for food. With some guys with both food, and we go to the home by night and leave the food out of the doors so
Wow.
they eat in the morning. And this in March, April, and May, every day, pam, this stuff. Because I live in a little country, and there are many old people here
Okay.
with no chance for food, with and you have to move, you have to act because the situation is really sad, and we can't add more to these people.
Yes, I see.
And as I said before to Andrew, I really I hope in a not second wave in October, November,
Yeah.
because the country is not prepared to
Wow.
face the situation.
I see.
Yeah, the situation is really difficult in all the world, I know, but the first time only one time you can be unprepared.
That's
the
true.
second time if you have the time to move, you have to do it. That's the fact. No excuses. No
Yeah.
excuses.
I agree.
Yeah.
40,000 people died here. 40,000 is like a war.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a war? So absolutely.
Yeah. And when the things are out of your country, happen out of your country, you can give your back, because that's the behavior. But now this stuff show us that no one is sure. No one is sure. Doesn't matter if it is a bomb that coming from the sky or a virus. Basically, we are nothing.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We are here today. Tomorrow, we don't know.
Exactly. This changed a lot of perspective of life in a lot of people, basically. Yes, and I agree with that.
Me, really a lot. Really a lot. There are things that maybe trivial before,
And they're
now
very important.
and now they are main things. And we need to be very to have more responsibility, not only physically but mentally. And I cross my finger to avoid another stuff like that, because when you see the people die around you for this stuff isn't good.
Yeah.
Isn't good. But that's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to ask you about how do you decide your tone while shading?
There's no precise decision, because when you use different tools, many tools, it is always a work in progress. Of course, what I do is a pre-work before, a study before I start to work on the final piece. Many thumbnails, many study of the light, many study of the composition, acting. Doesn't matter the field you're working on. It can be an illustration, it can be a comic, it can be fine art. It doesn't matter. The fact is that I need to prepare everything before start to working. When I work, okay, maybe I can correct something, the process, but usually I prepare everything, so I know where the shadows are, I know where the middle tones are, I know where the light are, because the less I do mistakes, the better it is, because this influences the paper. Sometimes happen that when I work on big shit, I wash the paper.
Oh.
I put it in water because I want the paper flat with all the process. I put the tape all around on a big table, maybe 2 meters for 4, a big panel. So I need the paper flat. So I wash the paper, let it dry. I rewash if I see some waves. So I need it flat. And
so you get to get the air out of the paper.
Yes. And this means that when you prepare the paper in this way and you use a lot the eraser, for example, the paper create holes.
Yes.
So the less you erase heavily, the better it is. So that's why shadows are there, lights are there, all the values, all the tones, and everything. Yeah, there is. I can say that there is a big work during the study of the art. When I'm comfortable with this, I go.
I see.
And doesn't matter if it is comics, because I used to work in comics, like I used to work in finance, like I used to work for an illustration. Doesn't matter. My path is the same.
I see.
Yeah.
So we move to the next question, Marcelo.
Yes, let me. What are the things that you keep in mind while shading forms, masses, and spaces? You asked that one, right?
Yeah. I can say that everything is in the question before, the answer before.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Because
so, yeah, it's part of the same kind of subject, right?
What?
I think that you actually answered two of our questions with that answer previously. You said.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So
I'm
gonna move to the other one then. Do you want to say it, or I mention it, Andrew?
I wanted to say.
Okay, so
I strongly believe in young guys, and I repeat every time that before put yourself in the in rendering, in realizing immediately your art, before you have to study everything, every steps. You have to need clear everything, because these avoid to do mistakes after. So if you prepare your work, it doesn't matter what it is, be sure that you solve any problem before then you start.
Do you recommend?
Yeah, I think this is really important.
I agree. Definitely agree. Do you recommend any authors for beginners? Any books for this kind of subject that a beginner can start reading to start their journey to become a better artist?
Books, depending by age, because maybe there are books for really young guys, not so complex, that give the chance to enter in this world step by step, because maybe not everyone are able to understand maybe some complex things immediately. And but for sure, all Andrew Loomis books.
Oh yeah, you know, I love that. Yeah,
awesome. Burn Hogarth. That's really simple, and it's really clear. And you know, I learn to draw watching, observing. So I don't have so many books that I can give as advice.
I see.
Because I always drawn everything, from the pen to the statue, the paper plate, and everything. I have a block with pencils in every room of my house, in the toilet.
I see.
Yeah. And because maybe an idea, and you don't have the support where to fix the idea, maybe even if it is important or not, it doesn't matter. Do that. Draw everything. Draw when you can. the advice sometimes that I give is concentrate in an half hour, then spend time in 4 hours, 5 hours to with a pencil in the hand and watching the wall. In this way, maybe you are more concentrated in half hour than spend time in 4 hours watching around.
I see.
So, do circles. If you, for example, there is a guy, a great concept car artist. What's the name? Don't remember. But his advice is do circles, square, cubes, basic shapes, and everything, and then assemble. Look in the nature. If you have to do a spaceship, maybe do something like this, or the phone, or simple stuff like this.
Yes.
So look, observing, teach a lot, sometimes than books.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so right.
But if you want to draw a body, you have to know anatomy. If you want to draw houses, you have to know perspective.
Oh yeah.
We are into everything. We are into perspective. In everything we do, we see every part we are is perspective. Always. So if you have a little note, draw something. Basic shape and basic light, and then build more complex things. But Andrew Loomis, I think, is give a complete sense of things.
Mm-hmm.
Even if his anatomy, perspective, because it was great. Yeah, in everything.
Okay, so we are going to ask you, if someone asked you to draw a full comic page, a sequential page like the one you have already showed us, how are you going to process that? Tell us about your workflow, the things that you keep in mind with each panel, the things that you keep in mind while drawing two pages in front of each other. Because as a comic artist, you'll have to understand and figure out that when you look at the comic, you'll have to think about the left page and the right page at the same time. So the right page doesn't seem falling off, while the right page does seem rise up maybe with the colors, maybe with the shading, maybe with the perspectives and things like that. So how are you going to think about that while working on a comic?
I think that I like to say that when you create something, we have to create simple things. So when I receive a script, for example, I read many times the script because if you do Spider-Man with a movie, with the comics, with the action figures and everything, you have references. You have a more complete idea how the character is moving in this world. If you have to create something that don't exist, like the story that I'm drawing, you have to read because you need to enter into the story, and then you have to create a movie. Because for me, comics is a movie. It's not only drawing inside the panels in this way, in that way. No, nothing is separated. Everything is linked, and the first thing is reading. When you understand what you have on the sheet, I realize, for example, all the pages in thumbnails, because I want to see the movement of one pages into another pages, and if the things that comes after works with the things that are behind. Okay, So the panel, the page are always like frame moving.
Yeah.
I
And
see.
it's like, it's like to see the movie strip in this way. You scroll down, okay, and that is the panel. Each panel is a frame, and the frame build the page, and so on. But if something, don't know, if page 8, for example, if something don't work behind, you can go on with that page. You have to solve the problem before. That's the fact. So when you have all the scene, all the pages near, and everything goes, you can proceed with the process. But into the pages, you put volume, shapes, study of the light, everything in a little space. When I'm okay with that, and I say, okay, everything run in the right way, I enlarge the thumbnail to the page dimension. Usually is the A3 page, and when I enlarge the thumbnails into this page with the light box, I work on the contours, because I want to be sure, and I want to have more clear where the forms are, the planes are, and after this I start rendering. But everything for me needs to work in the very first part of the stage.
Very,
And
very interesting process.
but I think that many artists do this, and maybe someone can work more directly because they have more experience. Maybe need to stay on the pages or on the thumbnails because they can be that you are unsure about what you do. And but everything, I think that needs to be solved in the thumbnail stage, because when you're rendering, I talk for myself, with the stuff, charcoal and powders and everything, I don't want to do mistakes. Each mistakes means ruin the paper, and means do another page, and is boring. So it's a technical mental process. So that work, this don't work, okay, we adjust, and then I see if work with what I did before. If everything goes, I move on to the another pages. I don't start to do comics reading and working on the final page. No.
Let's get back to the point you already mentioned about when you did something wrong while you're working in the workflow. Uh, do you scan your page after you finish the whole page, or do you take actual photos of the page? How we are going to get this page to the printer?
Yeah, what I do is thumbnail. I scan the thumbnail with a PC, and I enlarge the thumbnail. That usually is I do many study of the same pages, for example, and when I'm okay, the pages, the thumbnails, even if is really small, is really more defined. It's really defined. So when I enlarge with the scanner, and I put the thumbnails to the right dimension, I I don't have to go crazy to find the lines and everything. Okay, I have just to trace very lightly, because I don't work to do black lines, hard black lines. I do very lightly, and then when I have when I start to work on the page, of course, I model the figures, I model the background and everything, and then I start rendering. But usually, thumbnails is with the scanner at 105 dpi. Sorry, 150 dpi.
I see.
Because it is not a mega resolution, but not cheap. It's good. It's halfway, and it's good for me because with the light box, I can see perfectly what I did before in a small form, in a great form. And then, of course, references if needed, yes. But I like to work in thumbnails by mind. I don't think to reference. It's something that I use maybe because I want to accelerate, speed up the rendering, the process. So happen maybe a glove, maybe I don't know, a mountain, specific rocks, the sea in some situation, because depending many things, the sea in the morning, in the evening, by night, the atmosphere, the mood is different, and you have to, because comics is not only to be great to draw, is give an expression with what you do. Is and if you draw the sea by day, it's not the same by night. It's a different mood, different reflection, different light, different everything, atmosphere and everything.
Yes.
But all this stuff I solve when I do thumbnails.
So you first put all your effort in composition, the thumbnails, the different planes, the first, second, third, all that mental work.
Yeah.
All the things that you learn, you put that, and then you scan it and make it large in the traditional page, and that is where you kind of already did all that work, and you save time. You just work in the rendering and enjoy the process. That's very, very cool. That's very cool.
The artwork, the artwork part of the work is the first part.
Yes.
When you render, it's fun. That's really fun. But the sense of what you do is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you use this kind of things when you work on your project, but I think usually I think is the basic for everything.
In my case, I do, like when I need to create something very, very kind of futuristic or steampunk or like a creature, then I use the clay for the faces.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, and then I kind of play with even with the phone and take pictures of it, and then I kind of help me visualize it. But when I'm working in the page, what I do is I do thumbnails, but very, very, very kind of basic in a normal piece of paper. But I don't do like you did, like consider all the comic book. That is something that I don't do. I just consider like the scene. For example, there is a chase in the canyon, so I work in the scene. So it's like scene 1 is when they arrive to the canyon, and it will end in the cave, for example. So I do that, and then I move to the next scene. So it's kind of similar, but I do it in parts. And I don't consider how you look completely. That's the difference. And I do digital, so it's kind of different process. Sometimes I sketch.
You work digital? You draw digital?
What I do is let me show you some of my. I love pencil. Like this is kind of my thing. Let me show you something. But it takes a lot of time. Also, I'm not a skill, you know. I'm still kind of learning, and my style is kind of more basic. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of combine like three styles, like Japanese influence, you know, and a little bit of, well, I try to kind of be like what you're doing, a little bit more kind of realistic. And but when I'm doing right now in comic books, what I do is I just scan it very basic and I work in digital. My line is very basic and digital. It doesn't put too much volume like you are. I use the color to add the volume. So
Uh-huh.
it's very, very basic cell shade kind of style.
I only
Because
I only paint in digital.
mm,
Uh, for example, when I did some book covers, uh, where I started to do thumbnails, always drawing with pencil, classic way.
yeah,
And when I enlarge the thumbnails, I start painting over. I don't use to do contours and everything. It's more free.
yes, yeah. I
But
also only color in digital. In traditional, I use like markers, but I'm not good. I'm not good. Still not.
I try with Copic, but I don't like it. And
Yeah.
watercolor, yes. Acrylics, I use acrylics like watercolor, and because colors are really strong.
Yeah.
And but it is a long process because painting uh, is there are more things that influence the painting. It's not only to put color here and there and everything. No, when you paint, there are colors that came in front, some colors that go to the back, and it is a different approach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you paint, takes time.
So, ever you tried retouching your pencils with colors in Photoshop or something?
I did in a commission or two, I don't remember, but just because maybe I want to add some effects,
Hmm.
because digital can become a drug
Hmm.
with filters and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
And for me, digital is like a pencil, is like a brush, nothing else. Can
Hmm.
happen. Maybe if you want some glow effects or something like that, uh, there are there are some tips that you can use with Photoshop, but
Hmm.
for me, I use the effects only if I have to use.
Mhm.
That's
But I try to recreate everything always like painting.
so you kind of do everything traditional, line art, charcoals, and then if you need to color, you use the colorized kind of technique to put it, or kind of to add the color to the grayscale.
The things that I develop in the years is that I don't like to ink the pages, the pencil. I don't like to ink
Yeah.
with Kina or something else. No. My pencils are so dark that it's like ink for me.
Oh, I see.
Then I can give some maybe a balance, contrast, some curves, brightness, contrast with Photoshops to give a balance to the image. And then yes, I paint over. I paint with Photoshop. Happens. There is the last commissions that I did, the big phase of superhero that are on my page. They are, except the Captain America, they are all digital colors.
Hmm.
For the Spider-Man, Daredevil, and others I don't remember. But usually only if the client requests a digital color, I do. But
Yes.
usually I like to spend more time with pencil. I love pencils.
Yeah, me too. There's
And
something very
yeah,
enjoyable doing this. I think too, you too, Andrew, right?
What?
You enjoy also drawing in pencil more than digital.
I love drawing with pencils. Actually,
Yeah.
I enjoy working with them. I love them. I tried working on the tablet. I can draw on tablet directly with Clip Paint Studio, but didn't enjoy it so much as I did with the pencil. So I used back there. I used to draw with the pencils and ink my works with manual inking pens, but pens being sold here in my country isn't that good anymore. So I had to invent and create my own ink. So I
Ah,
had to go down there and buy stuff like Crocal and Chinese ink, some glue, and mix them together for about 6 hours, and then refilling pens, using them to ink my works, but the process doesn't go so well. So I had to think about how can I ink my works with the digitally. So I had to adjust and get a better graphic tablet. This did help me so well, but if I'm going to draw, I usually love to draw with pencils.
yeah, that's fun.
main things is that everyone needs to find what is comfortable with, because there are great artists, great digital artists that they do great things. Uh, there are other great artists that avoid digital art because they are fit with classic style, painting in classic way. Doesn't matter what you use. What
Hmm.
important is the final things that you have in your hand.
Hmm.
Because art is expression, so you can do it how you want.
Win anything, absolutely.
Yeah,
So right.
uh, doesn't matter really. The important thing is what you have in your hand in the end.
I agree.
Well, well, I think we got all our questions answered, Max. Many thanks for this interview. We actually enjoyed it so much, sharing those secrets and tips. I think our audience too will like it on our group on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. So many thanks again, guys. Many thanks to you, Marcelo, again for supporting me in this episode.
Absolutely. And Max, do you have any social media that you want to share to the audience so the audience know where to find you?
First of all, thanks for your time, guys.
You're
It is
welcome.
a great thing.
Was
It
an
is a
honor.
great, because it is always fun to talk about what we love, and
Yeah.
the passion is what move us. No way. And about socials, Facebook and Instagram, that I'm thinking to close because too many things to control, and I'm not able. And
I know the situation.
and on Facebook, on by my name, Max Moda or Massimo Moda, because I had to open the second profile. And everyone that want to visit the page can see what I do. And I'm always for advices. I answer to all the people. Many who want to ask something, I do. It's not. I love to have to meet people, to can give an end to push people to do things.
That's so
So,
cool.
That's
and
cool. Yeah.
you know, there are people that avoid. Okay, I pause, and that's all I do. No, and I like to talk about tips, tricks, and everything, art in general, everything. So if everyone want to do that, want to get in touch with me, I'm here.
Okay, I will be sharing these links with the video here. So many thanks again, Max. Many thanks to you guys, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Take care. Be safe. Bye.